Hello and welcome. We are Bleeding Tree Gaming. My name's Amy, aka Warpfiend, and I'm joined by...
Hello, I'm Tammy, and I am also known as the Autumn Witch.
Well, in new episode of our series, we started with the 40k boxes, all of the combat patrols that are out. We're now moving on to the Age of Sigmar ones, and Tammy in particular doesn't really know a whole lot about Age of Sigmar.
No,
but...
my preferred Warhammer fantasy is fantasy battle based, and not Age of Sigmar based. They kind of sort of lost me in the transition, but you know,
hopefully you can comment on the models, like the selections you get and stuff like that.
I'm gonna try and cover it from if I wanted to get into AOS, which of these sparked my joy?
Yes. So we're going to start with the Order faction. And first of all, we have a bit of an outlier. We have a Start Collecting box that's still available. Now, everything else...
Start Collecting box?
Yep, it's been a while since we've seen many of those. This is the Stormcast Eternals, what they have. They don't currently have a Vanguard box, which is kind of strange for the, basically the signature faction that GW have been trying to push, but I don't think Age of Sigmar fans have really cottoned on to as much as Space Marines in 40k.
Yeah, Space Marines were kind of like capturing lightning in a bottle, and it's very difficult to do twice.
Or it's very difficult to do from a standing start anyway.
Yeah. I mean, the models look fantastic.
Now, these are all from first edition AOS. It's fairly much like the set of the first edition box. Now, I can't remember if the champion was in it, but I know everything else definitely was. Yeah. And I have to say that they're good models to have. They're not perhaps the ones that are really getting used in Stormcast armies too much anymore.
Yeah.
Because as the armies evolved, I think some of the later units are currently like the popular ones. People might want to go for stuff like the current editions, 3-tiered starter boxes. That might be a better place to get your Stormcast. But if you just want some of these old models, maybe one of these units ends up being like really overpowered in a later edition.
Yeah, I mean, I did have a quick flick through all of these, and I did notice that the medium box set for Age of Sigmar, it's the same price as like the medium box set for 40k. It's like £62 or something, and it makes me wonder if it's not better value as well to grab that.
That might be where you want to go to start collecting Stormcast, to be honest. It's cool that this stuff's still on sale. Like, I do like that you can still buy this first edition stuff, but it's probably not the place to start your army.
No.
That's what I'd say. So moving on from that to it's the blimp dwarfs.
See, I love everything dwarf. I love steampunk. So I think the Kharadron Overlords are the army that sort of calls to me most in Age of Sigmar.
Where's the description here with everything in it? So you get the Arcanaut Admiral, the Arcanaut Frigate, 3 of the Endrin Riggers, which are like some of your most useful units that I think everyone will want, and the Arcanauts as well, which are pretty key. So it's a good choice of models. You definitely got one of the boats. You want your infantry. Like, I think this is a good place to start. Next step would definitely be filling out those boats a bit more, because you want some of the heavier firepower with these guys. They're all about the range combat.
Yeah. They're like the Tau of Age of Sigmar.
Yes, because there really isn't as much range combat in Sigmar as there is in 40k. So where the armies that do have ranged attacks tend to be a bit overpowered with it. But Yeah, this is a solid start to an army. Yep, that's about all I've got for it. Right, moving on. Sylvaneth. Now, this is a smaller Vanguard selection. Obviously, you've got the Tree Man. Oh God, what are the names again now? The Tree Lord. Yeah, sorry. Which is a good solid kit. It was out at the start, but it feels like this is a lot of the stuff that was out at the start of Age of Sigmar. Again, this is a very first edition base box set where they've had some beautiful sculpts out since, and these are still really nice, really solid sculpts, and you're probably going to want them in your army, but it doesn't seem like you get a lot of them for 85 quid.
Yeah, I mean, I would be expecting like, at least a unit of 10 basic infantry.
Yeah, you really, like, there's no chance you're going to be able to field this straight from the box as an army. And I think that's one of the weaker ones that we're going to see today. Obviously, the Tree Lord is a big kit, and then the Kurnoth Hunters here on the left. They're fairly tall on the tabletop, but it doesn't really warrant there being this few models. I don't think anything can get away from that. Yep, so moving on then, let's go to the Lumineth Realm-lords. Now, the High Elves.
Yeah, I mean, I am a High Elf fan.
I know, obviously, this is a very divisive army for a lot of the Old World High Elf players.
Yeah, it does. It looks like Old World High Elves, but it doesn't feel like.
Yes.
Them, and they are very pretty models, but they just seem a little derivative. There's like length into the aesthetic, but then they've changed certain bits seemingly for the sake of.
That's fair enough. Them. Yeah, that's a general kind of perception of the army. Yeah, I'd say like they are really beautiful models. They're not everyone's cup of tea, particularly if you're attached to the older stuff. But they are quite a characterful addition to the kind of like elf space, like design space. And I will say, as a starter box, this is an interesting one because it's fairly much all your basic troops. And don't get me wrong, some of this stuff, the archers are great. And the what do they call them again? Sorry, I'm going to keep on checking up the names on a lot of this stuff. The Vanari Blade Lords are good, but there's none of the really like crazy interesting stuff in here. And it depends if you just like high elves, then, and you like this aesthetic as well, then this might be the best place to start for you.
Yeah, I am seeing quite a few repeated poses on there.
Yes, there's definitely a few. If you like this army because of all the crazy stuff, then maybe you might want to look elsewhere.
Yeah,
this could be a core that you build on with the crazy stuff. There's nothing stopping that.
Yeah. Now, I mean, I like said it all the time when we were doing the 40k ones, that I love a box set that's got like a centerpiece model.
Yes.
Now, like the Kharadron Overlords, they've got the airship, the Lumineth Realm-lords. No, the what was before? The Sylvaneth.
The Sylvaneth.
They've got like the big dude in there. This doesn't seem to have like a big centerpiece model, and that automatically just makes it feel a little less.
It does knock it down a peg, but there's a lot of infantry here.
Yeah.
I think, has it got the 26 total models? So that's towards the higher end, so I'll give them points for that.
I'm thinking that it would be a good supplemental force, but to like start somewhere, I'd want to buy something like big to build the army around.
Yes. Okay, well, let's move on to a different kind of elf. the Daughters of Khaine. Now, as an
Wiggly
army,
elves.
as an army, these are, you know, they've always been a top tier army in Age of Sigmar, and a lot of people will be wanting to start them. And it's a little disappointing what we have here doesn't have the Cauldron of Blood thing, which used to come in the previous start collecting, because a lot of people like that as a big centerpiece model again.
Yeah.
But what you do have are the Snake Ladies. The Snake Ladies that are called the Bloodstalkers or the Blood Sisters. They're very cool. You've got your Witch Elves, which everybody loves Witch Elves. They're great troops.
Yeah.
These things at the back, I didn't even know these were in the army, I'll be honest with you. And these are the Doomfire Warlocks. I think that's quite an old kit, to be honest.
Mm.
I'd be interested to hear from people who are familiar with the range if that's not, if it's a new one that I've somehow missed. But I believe that's quite an ancient kit, and I'm not sure people use them. I've never seen them in a Daughters of Khaine army in my life before, so I'm not the most practiced Age of Sigmar player, but yeah, it's an interesting choice. But I will say Witch Elves and your Bloodstalkers are pretty kind of essential. And you've got the character that goes with the Bloodstalkers, the Melusaya Ironscale.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this is kind of mid-tier for me. Could be better. Moving on, the last of the elves, and the one that I've just started collecting, the Idoneth Deepkin.
Now, I think these are awesome. I love them. The whole idea that they're in some sort of like phantom ocean.
Yes, yeah, they kind of bring the tides with them in this kind of like magical sense. So all these sea creatures can storm over the lands. They can steal souls from the like coastal villages and stuff. I love all that lore, and I'm definitely taking them in a very like Elden Ring direction with mine, who are like just this order of knights. And oh god, I can't remember the name of it, but I was reading there's this kind of like Lovecraftian deep underwater horror that they fought at some point in their past, and I'm making my armies very much kind of like the echoes of that are coming back in their brain. Anyway, I'll have to do a whole separate video on that. I've just got this start collecting, and it's great. I love this one. This is one of the top tier start collecting they do. You've got your eels, you've got your shark, you've got some of your Nemates, and you've got the Soul Scryer. It's just a great place to start an army. It's the Alapex, that's the name of the shark. I will remember all this stuff at some part. Yeah, this is a really good start for an army. There's no huge centerpiece, although the Alapex is pretty big. But I think the fact that you've got that and the eels there, that kind of makes up for a lot.
The only issue I've got here, and it's nothing to do with the models, they're fantastic. The bases look so boring. I mean, these things like seaweed and coral and everything, and I'd love to see Games Workshop go a bit more inventive with their basing, but that's a criticism on them and not
yes, I mean, I think they keep it pretty basic just to like display the model better, and so people don't think they've got like sculpted details on them.
Yeah. They should make the sculpted details.
Yep. Well, anyway, like I love this army, and I love this sort of like this Vanguard box. I think it's great. Two more left in order. First of all, we've got the Fyreslayers.
Now, I want to say that if there's one thing I love more than steampunk dwarves, it's naked ginger dwarves.
That's fair enough.
I've always loved the dwarf slayers. Back when they were like the metal dudes in like the fantasy battle setting, I absolutely loved them, and I've always wanted an army of them.
They are cool. Like, I like them, but the thing is, for me, as an army and in this particular box in general, they all look the same. And like for me, this could be the same model like 26 times. There's a fair amount of them, but
I mean, the Start Collecting box that they had before they moved into like the Vanguard boxes, the Start Collecting was fantastic because it came with.
You had the Magmadroth. That's
you had
what
the
you're
Magmadroth,
missing.
And the Magmadroth was only about like £5 cheaper than the Start Collecting box.
Yes.
So it was essentially you're buying the Magmadroth, and you're getting like a big unit of Slayers and a character for like a £5.
And if you love this army, there's a fair number of models here.
Yeah.
But I think to start off an army, you're going to want a Magmadroth, just because it's the only thing that looks different.
Yeah. I mean, I love the aesthetic of this army, but I wouldn't. But as a box set, I would still rate it behind the Kharadron Overlords.
Yes, definitely.
I would say that the Kharadron Overlords is my favourite of all of these that we've looked at.
That's fair enough.
But the Sea Elves, I also I'd say they're a close second.
Yeah, so I'd put this one as like a low to mid tier. So there's a lot of stuff, and maybe if that's specifically what you want in your Fyreslayers, that's what you'd go for. But yeah, moving on to the final one then, Seraphon, and now we've just recently had this one out with fairly much all new sculpts, apart from obviously the it's not the Carnosaur, is it? It's the it is the Old Blood on Carnosaur. That's right.
Yeah.
Obviously you got the new Croxagore, you've got the new Saurus, and you've got the Astrolith Bearer, the Troglodon. I'm not even sure what that is. Oh, maybe that's just the icon bearer for the Saurus. Sorry, my mistake.
Yeah.
But yeah, these are beautiful kits. Didn't feel like you get a lot, but these are some big models. The Croxagore are pretty huge, and the Carnosaur is definitely one of the bigger ones as well. But it does feel a bit short, but you're getting all new models, and it would be a good place to start an army.
Yeah.
Right. So that brings to a close all of the Order ones. I'd say your favourite one was the Kharadron one. My favourite one is the Idoneth one, obviously. Say there could be definitely the Stormcast one. I would look to see that refreshed as AOS 3.0 comes to its close and we get close to the launch of 4.0. And maybe some of these other ones will as well.
Yeah, hopefully.
Right, well, we've been Bleeding Tree Gaming. We hope you've enjoyed this episode, and keep an eye out on the channel. We've got more of these reviews coming out soon. And don't forget to join our Facebook group.
Yes, Facebook. Come join us. It's fun.
Well, I've been Amy.
And
I've been joined by
me, obviously, the Autumn Witch.
And we'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.
Bye.